Hi there, this is Peter McIntyre on the right side of your screen, and my FriendshipWorks walking buddy, Grace, is on the other side. And this was taken during the second Friendship Walk a few years ago. And after that, Grace and I both took the microphone and talked briefly at the Oak Square location out on the parking lot. I'm very grateful to FriendshipWorks. It lives up to its name. A friend of mine, Sue Edwards, who was a fellow deacon in a Boston church back in the previous millennium, told me that she was one of the co-founders of, what was it called, Interfaith Outreach. And that has morphed into FriendshipWorks. So years later, I found I was having trouble getting out and walking and exercising. And so I tracked down FriendshipWorks, and Samantha, who was the coordinator of the Austin Brighton office, introduced Grace and me. And that's what has been the beginning of a wonderful friendship. We've gone to museums together. We both loved Latin in high school, and are both sticklers about English, trying to be grammatical whenever possible. And so also Grace is a botanist. That she's spent her senior college year at the University of Dublin in Ireland. And she also is a docent at the Harvard Museum of Natural History and the Glass Flowers exhibit. And she's taken me over there a couple of times. I first visited that back when I was 14 years old, and the exhibit was in terrible shape at that point, but they've refurbished it beautifully. She told some fascinating things about wasps that crawl into a fruit and eat the fruit and lay their eggs in there and then crawl out and go off. And there's a different type of fruit that has like fingers that keep the wasp in along with her eggs, and then it melts them chemically, and the fruit eats the wasps. So Mother Nature has an odd sense of humor sometimes. In any event, Emily, who is the current coordinator of the Austin Brighton office, has hooked me up with a couple of people, a grad student at Babson College, and then more recently, a PhD who was, and both of them were doing surveys. Also, Emily hooked me up with free meals every other Thursday, and also has helped me to get in touch with people who have helped me with my computer stuff. So anyway, this is Grace and I then, and then I'd like to show you some family pictures, because on the left, we see my cousin Donald in the middle, and to your left is Jessie, his wife. Don was a medical doctor, and Jessie, a registered nurse. And then at the left is Susan, left of your screen, and on the right of Don is Lynn, and then at the far right is the eldest daughter. And we see her again on the right at the present time, holding a friend's little black cat. And that's Kathy. And Kathy, in this picture, is in Vietnam, from whence she made a donation to this 2021 walk. And she lives in Phnom Penh and does volunteer work in the expatriate community in Cambodia, but the lockdown put her in a hotel in Vietnam. I'll wrap it up by saying one of the most fun things that FriendshipWorks has hooked me up with is a Saturday morning, 1.5 hour, a series of 5 intergenerational literacy classes to help kids with their readings. And here you see the one such class where we're all clowning for the photographer. And we had finished all but the 5th in the 3rd series of these 5-week classes when the lockdown happened for the pandemic. So I'm looking forward very much to the resumption of that. The kids were wonderful. They were very bright, a neat sense of humor. The head teacher who took this picture would read from a kid's book, for example, Ferdinand the bull, who was a big fighting bull, but he didn't like to fight. He liked to smell the flowers. And so after we had read this, the kids sat down and wrote in those notebooks. Each kid had a notebook. And then we moved on to arts and crafts, and you see some of the things there. And then we would make flowers and whatnot. Sometimes the kids collaborated, and that was wonderful. I had been an adjunct teacher for grades 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 in 13 different schools, and from Vermont to the Carolinas, and from Watertown, Massachusetts to Pauling, New York. So it was wonderful to get back into a classroom setting, and I'm hoping that once we get far enough toward herd immunity, we can resume that. I hope you have a wonderful virtual walk, and I thank you for sharing it with me, and I thank you also for sharing your friendship, your concern, and your invaluable help. So until next year, or sooner if we see each other then, this is Peter McIntyre saying, Auf W. Later.